Okay, good afternoon. It is July 27th, 2025. This is Debbie Davis. Okay, so there's one part of the story that when I was coming back from California that I did not explain, and I was trying to just do some research on this base called Skunkworks. Okay, because I believe this base was involved in what happened to me on the way back from California. So as you know, I've talked about that I went out to out to California to the Conscious Life Expo in February in LA, in Los Angeles in February 2025 this year, and I've been going out there for the last 3 or 4 years or something, and have a booth there, and so I was coming back through through California, okay, and and it would have been like I was going north, so it would have been right by this base. So there's a Skunkworks base in it's Lockheed Martin Skunkworks, okay. Edwards, California. Yeah, I would have been going right through that area as I was going home. The direction I was going. There's a Skunkworks in Burbank, and there's a Skunkworks Lockheed Martin Aeronautics in Palmdale. Okay, so I don't know if it was the Palmdale or the Edwards, but I mean, what happened is I'm driving through, leaving the state, and I see this huge thing that literally looked like a rocket. It literally looked like a rocket. It lit up the whole sky. It looked like a rocket was launching, and I'm like, wait, that's Houston. Houston has the rockets. But it lit up the entire sky. It looked like some kind of a spaceship or something that was launched into space, and it lit up the whole sky. And so this would have been in the same exact area that the Skunkworks base is. Okay, and basically it was an EMP weapon. It was an EMP weapon because it took out my phone. It took service out of my phone for 3 states. So I had no service on my Verizon for 3 states, for all of the rest of California, Arizona, and New Mexico. So I didn't have any service until I got past New Mexico. So I don't know what kind of a weapon this is, but I believe it came from Skunkworks. So I had never heard of this base, but Sean Ryan had this doctor. I forgot his name, but he's been involved in the UFO community for a long time. He interviewed him. This guy right here, I forgot what, Stephen Greer, yeah.
Was the head of the Lockheed Skunkworks and acknowledged towards the end of his period there that they had technologies that could, quote, take ET home. He also stated there were no private conversations anywhere on the earth, true, no matter what your encryption is. And also he said that anything you imagine, we've already done at the Skunkworks. The Skunkworks that would deal with a conventional jet, rocket, ramjet type classified aircraft. I want to make a distinction between the black budget and highly classified, legally overseen projects. Mm-hmm. Here I'm talking about, there's a guy I'm working with now who literally oversees the black budget of the United States. And when he tried to find out, he went out to the Lockheed Skunkworks, he was shown a bunch of these conventional propulsion systems. He was not shown the ones that are the man-made UFOs, that are the electrogravitics, the things that float, boom, 100,000 miles per hour.
Let's start with Lockheed Skunkworks.
Ben Rich was the head of the Lockheed Skunkworks and acknowledged towards the end of his period there that they had technology.
So basically this Skunkworks is something with Lockheed Martin, and they apparently work with Area 51. So I had never heard of this before, but I believe that's whatever that thing was that happened to me came from Skunkworks. And well, I mean, if it was targeting me specifically, a military veteran, well, I mean, that would be called crimes against humanity, because it took out my service. And then I had that my tire went out in New Mexico. My tire was punctured right past Albuquerque, and I had no service on top of it. So it was a coordinated effort between this base, who is associated with Area 51, and the Masons in that one town in New Mexico. It was a coordinated effort to try to silence me. So I would call that crimes against humanity. I would say that that's pretty serious. And so if it did it to me, it would have taken out everybody's service in that whole area. It was an EMP weapon. Whatever they did was an EMP weapon. And I just haven't talked about it because I didn't know exactly what it was. But my friend who used to live out in California for many years, just mentioned it was probably involving Skunkworks, because that would have been the area that I was driving through. So I just wanted to explain that, as I put these pieces together. I mean, my harassment has gone on for so long and is so intense, and I mean, they're trying to shut me up so bad that, clearly I touched on something huge in Arizona, and it involved the embezzlement, the money laundering, and so, and they just can't believe that I still survived, because I've had so many attacks against me. This was, this wasn't the only one. On the way there to California, I got hit by some kind of weapon just driving through Denver, that hit me in the throat. They just won't stop. They just won't stop. So, it's a mixture of, it's also because, you also as a woman, we get a lot more harassment just in general on this targeted program. It's worse for women than the men, because most of the secret societies involve men. It's mostly men, and men Masons. There are Eastern Star Masons, and they're just as dangerous, if not more. But the majority of the people in the secret societies are men. It started out that way, and it, was mostly men for many decades, So as a woman, it's worse for us in any kind of a targeted, So it's partly, I think, that for sure. And it's just the level of what I touched on was so huge going on in Phoenix. Phoenix is one of the centers of the deep state. And plus I have a pending lawsuit that, it's like thousands and thousands of dollars. And, they've gone to efforts to try to even hide that I filed these lawsuits, and I have two lawsuits pending in Arizona that they never even let go to court. They tried to dismiss them for no reason at all. It was a judge that was assigned by John McCain. And and she just illegally dismissed them. I never even had a chance to go to court. So of course that's illegal. It's just like where do you start with the cover-ups here? Where do I even begin to try to get justice? There's so much injustice. It has to start. There has to be massive, all these people involved in trying to cover up my court case. The judges in Phoenix, they all need to get in trouble. Of course, all the people involved in the Russia hoax, they all need to be arrested. All these people in, like I said, and then at the military base that I worked that were involved, they all need to be arrested. It's just, that's why it's so frustrating for me that they keep saying that these arrests are supposed to happen and they haven't. Every single day that the arrests don't happen, I am in extreme danger, because they'll tell the police to target me, they'll tell the courts to target me, because all of these people that it's coming down from are still not arrested. So every day that these people aren't arrested, I'm in severe danger, because it involves, it goes, all the way up to the intelligence agencies down to that base, then the courts in Arizona, then the police, in all these different states were involved. And but it's a coordinated effort. It's clearly a coordinated effort. So if you don't start arresting the people involved, every day of my life I'm in danger. And no soldier should ever have to go through what I went through. I mean, this is 12 years of my life now. It has been completely. I haven't been able to have any kind of a life, any kind of a job, anything. I mean, it's been pure living hell. You can't do this to soldiers, you know.